All right, so we're gonna let this play in regular speed, then in slow-mo. So we take a look at the knee, and we just watch on how this back knee is gonna want to stay back as the body goes forward, keeping the back foot nice and flat into the ground for as long as we can. Then once the knee starts to rotate, then we start to drive through the big toe. And as we're driving through the big toe, we continue to rotate that knee. And now that we're driving through the big toe, that starts to get our back hip to come forward. So then at foot strike right here, we zoom out. We can see that we're in this 90-ish degree angle with our arm. Belt buckle is driving towards that target. And we can see how the foot has turned over. We got this angle with our back leg here. So that way now, actually, we'll wait. Let's go to, so same thing, we'll play regular speed. And then in slow motion, we can watch excuse me, same thing with the lower half, watching how the back knee, we want to keep that back as the body gains ground towards the target, keeping the back knee back, keeping the foot flat into the ground for as long as we can until we then start to rotate the knee. And as we're rotating the knee, we then start to drive through the big toe. And we drive through the big toe into our stride, or into our foot strike, into our landing, whatever you like to think or call this part of our delivery right here. We can see then what this backside leg looks like, how much it's turned over. And again, we're going through that big toe, driving through this big toe, keeping that heel on the ground for as long as we can so that we can drive through the big toe straight to our target with our rotation of the lower body, into our foot strike, into our landing. And again, we see that we're in that 90-ish degree angle. The glove is in a good finished position. The shoulders are still squared, but yet the lower half has rotated, getting that belt buckle going towards our target, and the back hip has gone forward. You can see the back hip is driving forward at foot strike. Driving forward at foot strike. All right, so we'll watch Dylan Cease, same thing, slow-mo. After the fast there, we'll see back knee, staying back, back, as the hips and the body go out, until we can't keep the knee back no more, and then it's time to start to rotate it then. And once we begin the rotation, while keeping that heel on the ground for as long as we can, we then drive through the big toe. You can see how we do that there. Driving through the big toe. And we have to make sure that we drive through the big toe into our front foot strike, into our landing. So that way the belt buckle starts going to the target and the back hip starts to go forward. So then we zoom out. And we can see there's that 90-ish degree angle there in the elbow and the 90-ish degree angle there in the armpit. The glove is in a finishing position and the shoulders are still squared while the lower body is rotated, creating upper lower half separation or hip shoulder separation. The more we achieve of that, the more power we're going to create. The more we create of this, the more stress we begin to reduce off of the arm, because now we are throwing with the body from the ground up. Power is in the ground. We got to get it from the feet. The feet take it to the knee takes it to the hip takes it into the front foot hitting the ground. Now the power's here, and then we got to get it from here back up to here, and we'll get to that momentarily. So we don't got a slow and a normal speed one to look at, so we'll look at just this one at real speed that we have, and then on the second time we will slow it down, and again we can zoom in on just the back knee and watch on how we try to keep that back knee back as long as we can while the hips and the rest of the body go out towards our target. And then once we can't keep the knee back no more, it's time to start to rotate it, all while keeping that back foot on the mound, or back foot connected to the ground rather. And then once that knee gets to a certain point in that rotation, then it's time to start to drive and rotate through the big toe. Boom. Rotate and drive through the big toe into our foot strike, into our landing. Drive through our big toe into our landing. Drive through the big toe as the knee continues to rotate. In fact, driving through the big toe and turning the foot over helps rotate the knee even more. So now it's not just the knee rotating itself, it's the knee and the foot rotating the knee, which then at the very end, right before that foot hits the ground, it does what with the back hip? Gets it to start to go forward. Back hip starts to go to our target. Boom. So then we're in foot strike, belt buckle's going towards that target. Back hip has come through. We can see that same angle where the heel is in front of the back toe at foot strike, showing that we have driven ourselves forward. And we come up here and we can see there's that 90-ish degrees with the glove finished there. Shoulder still squared, but the belt buckle going towards the target. The waist has rotated, the knees have rotated, the feet have rotated. Oops. All into foot strike. Okay, at front foot strike here. Lower half is rotated, upper half has not. We call that, again, upper lower half separation. Same thing, only got one speed for Shane here. We can zoom in. Just watch that back knee again, and how we try to keep the back knee back for as long as we can while that foot just stays flat into the ground. And then once we can't keep the knee back no more, then it's time to start to rotate it. At a certain point in its rotation, we got to start turning over that back foot. We got to start driving through the big toe. We got to drive through the big toe into our foot strike. We drive through the big toe to help continue to rotate the knee into foot strike. And there's our 90-ish degree. Boom. We can also see how that back hip is going forward as we drive through that big toe. So there's our upper, lower half separation once again. You can see the back knee staying back, 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 back. Flat foot until we can't keep it back no more. Then the knee starts to rotate. Then the foot drives through the big toe. Drive through the big toe to continue to rotate the knee. Drive through the big toe into our foot strike. So at front foot strike, we can see again, everything is nice and closed off here. The glove is finishing into the body. Back hip is here. And then it's driving to the target at foot strike. There's the belt buckle going to the target. And once again, we can see that the heel is in front of the toe, indicating we have driven forward. The 90-ish degree angle here and the 90-ish degree angle here. So we can kind of make these guys a little bit smaller so we can pull them all up at the same time. Okay. So then here's everyone at their front foot strike position. So we got lefties, we got righties. We got guys with short arm paths, we got guys with long arm paths. We got guys with low arm slots, we got guys with high arm slots. But we are seeing that everyone here is kind of fitting the same build, right? Back toe, back heel, back knee, back hip. Here, actually, I think, let me. Okay. Actually, okay. Okay. Let me see. Back toe, back heel, knee, hip. Boom, boom. Same thing here, here, and here, and here, and same thing here. So toe, heel, knee, hip. Rotated and turned over, rotated and driven forward. Excuse me. Then on the front leg, we can see our alignment is different with all these guys. These angles are not the same, right? Some guys have longer strides and that angle is less. Some guys have shorter strides and that angle is a little more. But what we can see from the front view, if we had them from the catcher's perspective, what they all are going to show is that the hip, knee, top of foot, and foot are in a nice alignment straight towards the target, which then makes it so that as the shoulders, which are still closed, 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 and closed, while the hips have rotated forward, rotated forward, rotated forward, rotated forward, rotated forward, and rotated forward, creating that upper lower half separation, right? The hips going one way and the shoulders not. So now that these lower bodies are all in really good positions at front foot strike, it now allows them to be able to rotate their upper body with all the rotational power that the lower body just created. All this rotation we just worked on getting with the back foot, the back knee, the back hip starting to go forward, the front foot, front knee, front hip rotating forward. That rotational force, now that we're in the ground, as long as we lock out these knees as we throw, meaning the bend that we have goes inwards. We have to take this knee and lock it out. When we take this knee and lock it out, that sends the energy that we had during this rotation, during this drive, that we then sent into the ground here at foot strike. If we can lock this knee out, that then shoots the energy up to the body, while it also allows the upper half to shoot down more. So this locks in, this sends the trunk, our trunk, and that's the center of our trunk. It sends our trunk down the mound. When we are able to lock this leg out, lock this knee out, that will straighten this leg out, which will then take our trunk and help send it from this position here down to this position here, which helps accelerate our throw out. So if I get rid of that and now bring these guys back up, we'll watch how that knee will lock out. Boom. So we'll go back. So boom, he's hitting the ground, locking that leg out. As soon as it hits the ground, we want to lock it out so that we can get into this position here. We can see how much that trunk, which at front foot strike, boom, we can see is here. All right, if I get this back, you see the trunk is here. I think I should be able to hit this and that. No, this and that. Yeah, there we go. And then we go, oops. Boom. And now we're back to being here. So now we've gotten that angle, like we said, that knee locked out, and that helped get the trunk that was up here out to here. So we've taken now the trunk and sent it wham this way, and the ball is still in our hands. So now not only did we get all the rotational energy from the lower body to get sent up to the upper body, now we're getting the upper body to slam itself forward with the ball still in our hands, which then will help it get sent out even more aggressively in even a better downhill trajectory. And that's how we flow energy from the ground through our foot, into our knee, into our hip, into the ground, back out of the ground, into our hips, into our trunk. And then ultimately at the very end, this is the throw. And the throw happens without us even knowing. None of it is the arm that is making the throw. It is the body. The arm is just a passenger for our car. So let's get that again. Boom. Locking it out. Locking it out. So there's a similar angle again. My favorite guy right here, right now. This past season, just everything that Brady Singer does is just electric. The movement on his fastball, his off speed, his composure, his mound presence. This dude is a future Cy Young winner. Again, there's that angle right there of being able to go from being up here at that front foot strike. I wish F1 actually did what it says it should. With the trunk being up here to then being able to throw and be able to get all the way out to here. And that ball is still in his hand. Right there. So then again, we can see that with that leg locked out, how that helps send all that power up, which then helps us as that arm comes out of its external bent, or its external rotation, and starts to come through here into its internal rotation. It's catching all of this power that the trunk just went this way with. The arm is now catching it as it's gone from here, elbow, wrist, elbow, wrist, elbow, wrist, to now ball out, elbow, wrist. It took all of that energy from the upper body doing that motion. It took it as well, helping again be able to get that ball to go downhill, downhill. So if we then take Hunter back down. Oh no. There we go. And we can see, again, dudes of all different arm angles, different arm paths, different sizes, different deliveries, different arm paths, everything. But again, we're hitting these very key important checkpoints along the way. And you see now it's that leg being locked out, front leg being locked out, chest coming through, boom, boom, same there, there, and there. We all see the head right on target, looking right at it, looking right at it, looking right at it. Glove, 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 glove. Cannot stress this enough, fellas. We gotta ensure that all this energy that we've worked so hard with our mechanics to do, all this work that we've done with the lower body to get us into that good front foot strike position, all the good, tight, clean rotation that we're trying to do with this upper body, if the glove gets outside of ourselves, if the glove gets outside of our bodies, that energy is no longer going to go straight towards the target. It's going to start to leak out towards first base dugout if we're a righty, or into third base dugout if we're a lefty. And now that'll add a little extra stress to the arm. It's going to take a little bit away from our command, and it's going to take away from our velocity as well. 3 things that we are ultimately trying to gain as much of as a pitcher. So then we can see how they all then finish through those motions.